Ladies, good afternoon and welcome to Meet the Artichoke Girls. Today our victim is Caroline, and without too much more to do, we're going to crack on with her 30 questions, which, as you know, is our homage to Vogue 73. As you watch, ladies, you have any questions for Caroline, please ask them and we will interrupt her very rudely and put your questions to her. Welcome to everybody. Say hello to each other as you normally do. Sit back and relax and enjoy the ride. So I'm thinking on my feet here. I don't know whether just to go straight in with the questions or to actually introduce you, Caroline, and to get you to talk a bit about you and your background. So what should we do? Should we just go with the questions and chat through?
Actually, I'm a bit worried about this victim, though.
You're going to be hung, drawn and quartered afterwards. So the first question we always ask Caroline is diamonds or pearls?
Diamonds, definitely.
Every time?
Oh, actually, I do love wearing pearls. I do love wearing pearls, but diamonds are my favourite, yeah.
And big knickers or small knickers?
Big knickers.
How big are they?
Enormous. Unfortunately.
Up to your armpits?
I'm afraid not quite that bad, but I must admit I do go for comfort, yeah.
And your water, do you drink it sparkling or flat?
I didn't know it was going to get quite so flat water, I think, yeah.
Well, you know,
or a bit of sparkle if I go out for lunch.
Okay.
Yeah, which I don't do as often as I would like to at the moment, of course.
So you are completely locked up at the moment, aren't you?
I am quite a lot, yeah. Unfortunately, I have people who are very close to me who are vulnerable, so I don't go out as much as I'd like to. So, but then there's so many people in the same situation at the moment. We just have to make the best of it, don't we?
Yeah, I think there are so many people who are trying to keep their mum and dad safe, aren't they?
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Although I think the mum and dads are just going, hell, we're going out because otherwise we're going to go crazy. So yeah, it's finding that right balance, isn't it? Really? Yeah.
And actually, when I was doing the advert for you, I don't know if you actually noticed, but there were a lot of comments.
Oh, really?
Because
I haven't looked at it. No, I don't look at things like that.
it's because I asked whether you had big or small knockers.
My husband used to say more than a handful's of waste. I'm afraid it's bigger rather than smaller these days.
That was me quickly doing it in the car park before I went in to buy a mattress and protective text.
What was your reply, Sarah?
Anyway, we've established that she's got reasonably sized knockers and wears very big knickers.
This is going to get quite so personal.
Well, I didn't do it intentionally. So, coffee or tea?
Oh, definitely a tea drinker in a big way. But I have to say that since lockdown, because my lovely husband is no longer traipsing up and down to London all the time, we do at 11:30 every morning have a coffee date. Because we don't get to go out to cafes, and so coffee has become a big thing. We have freshly roasted coffee delivered from some place in London, which is actually cheaper than going out for a coffee in a cafe. And I'm afraid I have a secret obsession now, and that is I sit trawling the internet buying coffee pots.
Oh my God.
It's really crazy, but yeah, I love it. So every day we have a different coffee pot and a fresh coffee, and that's become a real big treat.
So you really are sort of reinventing your social life within the four walls that you live in, obviously out of necessity.
Yeah.
But as we've been chatting through the afternoon, of all the people that have been locked up for months, you seem to be the sanest.
Oh, thanks for that. Well, actually, I mean, I think that you've got to make the best of everything, haven't you? And for us, my husband has quite a high-powered job, and he was traipsing up to London all the time, you know. And it's been actually really lovely to have time together at home and in the garden. We're very lucky that we've got, you know, a lovely garden that we both enjoy working in, and that's been a gift actually. And I think, you know, a lot of people have actually found that, although it's not the trendy thing to say, because, you know, everybody's got real problems at the moment and they're all different. But I actually had someone come around to do some work in the house, and this chap was lovely. I was chatting to him and I said, you know, have you been furloughed? And he said, yeah, I'm back now working, which is great. And I said, oh, it must have been tough. He said, yes. He said, but I've got 2 kids and it's been a joy. I've spent the whole summer with them. And it was so refreshing. It was the first time I actually heard somebody go, this is great. And I think we've just, I mean, it is rubbish at the moment. But if we don't find the little nuggets of good things that are coming, you know, make the best of them, then we're really going to struggle, I think. So, yeah. So actually, yeah, coffee morning dates are something that I really look forward to.
That's really lovely. And actually, you gave me a thought, but before I move on to that, I can see that Book Sue's watching. Book Sue, can you tell us if you can't hear Caroline, please? Can you just comment? Because she does have a booming voice like me, so I think that's not going to be a problem. But if, ladies, you can't hear Caroline, can you just let us know so that she shouts a bit? I'm actually going through my back issues of Vogue because I've been so busy. I've been buying it every month and not reading it. And I think I've just finished June, and in June's issue there were a lot of, I mean, most of them I don't even know who they are, but a lot of film stars and young rock stars who've all got small children saying how much they're enjoying being at home with their kids. And I think that's so sad that they are missing. Sue's just said, I can hear you, big knockers and all.
Oh, no, okay. I'm never going to live this down.
But don't you think that's so sad that these people on paper have everything and actually they're missing their entire lives?
Well, I think a lot of people will kind of get onto a treadmill of having to, you know, work so hard, and they are probably workaholics to be as successful as they are. And yeah, it's so easy. I mean, I worked in broadcast. I had a fantastic career working in TV news, and it was wonderful. But you do kind of, you're rushing at such a pace that sometimes you do have to stop and think. I look back now and think, goodness, I was really stressed out all the time. You know, was that really good? But I don't know. My 2 kids have turned out okay, so you know, you'd have to ask them really. Yeah.
Unlike me, who retired.
Yeah, that's right.
And then life bit me on the bum. And I had to start working again. Anyway, my love, gin or fags?
Neither.
Neither?
No, I've never smoked, never wanted to smoke. And gin just, you know, mother's ruin just makes me depressed, so I don't drink gin either. So probably a glass of wine rather than gin or fags. Yeah.
I'm staring at you because that's obviously why your skin is so good, because you didn't
really?
smoke.
Oh, no, I think that's my mum. My mother has got fantastic skin.
She has actually, hasn't she?
Amazing, my mum. So I'm hoping that's her genes. Yeah.
I think it's lack of fags as well, because you haven't got the wrinkles here.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good, okay.
When I was in my 20s, everybody used to bang on about dying, which really didn't interest me too much. If they'd said by the time you're dying because you smoke. Oh no. Yeah, right. If they'd said by the time you're 50, no, I haven't got a moustache now. I didn't have one then. If they'd said I'd have wrinkles above my lips, oh my God, I would have knocked it on the head immediately.
That would have stopped you smoking.
That would have stopped me smoking.
Well, we
yes.
start a campaign to stop young girls smoking.
Tell them about wrinkles and that'll stop it.
True. That's true.
What is your favourite food?
Oh my goodness. Gosh, that's a really hard one. I love food. I love cooking, and I don't think I could pull out one particular thing. I think I love food combinations, putting things together that really complement each other, and I love, you know, just freshly cooked. I love food being cooked from fresh ingredients, so I can't stand packet food and supermarket food, which we all have to use sometimes, but you know, really I love freshly cooked, fresh ingredients cooked straight away. That's my favourite.
How old were you when you got your first degree?
I'm not going to tell you, but I was in my 50s.
And are you going to tell us what it was? Are you going to elucidate, Caroline?
Okay, so
that was supposed to be a leading question.
Okay, so when I left school, when I flunked my A-levels at 18, and because I didn't really want to go to university, I wanted to get out in the world, which is what I did, and was very fortunate. I had a great career, and I was worked in broadcasting for about 25 years, and then got made redundant and worked for a bit, and then my youngest son was doing his A-levels, looking at going to university, and this is kind of crazy, but I picked up a copy of the local newspaper, the EDP, and there was a small article about this big that said they were going to teach art history lessons at the university as an evening class. Well, the one subject that I really loved at school was the history of art, and I thought, oh, I could do that. And so I did. I went, I absolutely loved it, and thought, this is just an amazing world, and realised that I could actually go to university as a mature student, because I hadn't ever had any sort of grant. I hadn't been before. I could get some funding and get the normal student loan, and so I did. And I went to UEA and I did a degree in the history of art, and then I stayed on and did a master's because I couldn't give it up, and I just feel so lucky and privileged because it opened up a whole world. I mean, how joyous to spend 4 years studying the most amazing creations that humankind has ever created. How fantastic is that? And I realised that I also, kind of the journalist in me really loved, when I started, I didn't know if I could write an essay. Just hadn't got a clue. But I realised that I loved researching stuff, and I loved social history, so I loved taking an object, whatever it may be, and finding out who made this, why did they make it, what did it mean when they made it to the people who looked at it, why did they use those materials, what did the political situation at the time mean to it, and then, you know, 100 years later, what did it mean to those people when they looked at it? And I just found it fascinating, rewarding, and I am very, very lucky that I did it. So I got my MA 2 years ago, and I still miss it. So how lucky am I that I did that? And it was great.
But you have been continuing your studies during lockdown, haven't you?
Yes, I kind of got the bug now, you know, I can't help it. So I became a guide at the cathedral, Norwich Cathedral, which meant learning, you know, 1,000 years of history, which is great. And although I can't currently go in and guide because that's not happening at the moment, I can do research, and so I've been writing some articles and that sort of stuff. And, you know, just an odd question like, I wonder what they did in the Middle Ages for, you know, how long have they had church organs? Who knows? Since the 7th century, would you believe?
The 7th century? I didn't know organs existed then.
Organs have been around for a long time, yeah. And it's so just kind of kooky, weird things like that, but it keeps me occupied. Once I get on the old, you know, computer, 2 hours can go, and because quite a lot of us at the moment have quite a lot of time to film, that's great, because I really enjoy doing that. So you know, I'm really lucky that I learnt to study and to enjoy studying, because I hated it when I was at school.
So did I. I am really envious, actually, because I think if I were to ever go to university, I'd love to do art history too. Yeah. I could never ever make up my mind. My lovely friend Hazy and I, when we retired, she was going to do creative studies at UEA, and I was going to do art history. Yeah. And we were going to sort of swap notes so that we could get 2 degrees out of one, and she bloody died on me. So I'm not doing that, am I?
Terrible. But never say never, Sarah. You can still on it.
Oh, I can do it on my own, but now I have the terrible quandary. Do I do creative writing or do I do art history?
Well, you can do both, actually.
Can I?
You can do mixed modules and things. Yeah, you could get around that.
So by the time I'm 80 and I finally retire,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I'm going to be doing.
I think if I ever pay off my student loan, I will be in my 80s. So I can't see that it's going to happen. So, but I don't think, when I was at school, I just thought, oh God, what's the point in learning stuff for the sake of learning it? And now I look and go, why wouldn't you want to learn everything that there is to learn, and what a joy it brings? So I think you should never think I'm too old to do that sort of thing. I'm really glad that I did it when I did it, you should not discount yourself, just because you don't fit into the kind of the concept of all students are young. Actually, they're not. There's loads of amazing mature students, and anybody can do it.
Mm. I think obviously the school you went to, or perhaps your family, like me, they instilled in you a love of learning, because I still learn every day. I'm still so interested in so many different things. If we just been talking about, my latest project is learning how to run a YouTube channel.
Oh, how cool is that? Fantastic. We look forward to that. That'd be amazing.
Yes. Well, the jury's out on that one.
I did actually, when I left TV, I did work in a company that did that, an online streaming company, which I was involved in, and it's really exciting, actually. Yeah, it's amazing the things that you can do now.
So I don't have to go on YouTube, I can just ask you.
Well, yeah, I'm a bit rusty, but yeah, I think YouTube's a good place to go.
Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. So,
I'm learning to crochet.
Oh, I can crochet already. Been there, done that.
Okay.
We can swap. So, who is your favourite artist?
Oh gosh, I can't have a favourite because there are just so many. I think Rembrandt's portraits are stunning. I think if you want to look at actually, if you're interested in fashion and you want to look at an amazing current artwork, look up the red dress embroidery.
Okay.
An artist called Kirsty MacLeod, who over 10 years she designed a red silk dress, but this dress has now gone around over 200 countries, and embroiderers in those countries have all embroidered onto it. And it's now this just stunning red silk gown, completely covered in those people's embroideries, from refugees in Kurdistan and Syria and Africa and Russia and all around the world. It is mind-blowing and I just love it. So look at the red dress embroidery. It's a fantastic art project.
I will do that.
You'll love it.
As soon as we finish this, whilst we're having supper. What would be your dream job?
What would be my dream job now? Oh, I don't know. Running the National Gallery.
What about Norwich Museum? That's a bit nearer.
That'd be great.
You can't commute to London at the moment. But I suppose it is a dream job. Stationery or email?
Oh, well, we all email, don't we? But actually, I think there is something lovely about receiving a handwritten letter. I have a few friends who always send thank you cards, and I think that is a lovely thing to do. If somebody's gone to the trouble of making you a lunch or doing something for you, how nice to just send a card. And I actually, during lockdown, I'm spending more time just handwriting letters to people, because I think it's a really lovely thing to receive, and we don't do it enough.
I've got a pen pal.
Have you?
Yes,
That's
yes,
cool.
and
Where's
that's
your
lovely.
pen pal?
My pen pal is in Whitby.
Oh,
yes,
lovely.
we used to be neighbours, and we met up. Probably the ladies have heard this before, because it's probably something I've droned on about. But we met up for the first time in 42 years, I think, last year.
Wow, cool.
And we write to each other. It's lovely, absolutely lovely.
Brilliant.
And I actually went out and got special stationery so that because I didn't have any stationery anymore.
Yeah, lovely.
So now I think writing letters is lovely, really. If you could make a documentary, what would it be about?
Oh my goodness, there are so many things, aren't there really? I think perhaps it would be about something about art, but golly, I don't know. That's put me on the spot actually. I think there are so many things that you can make documentaries about. I think that, I mean, I'm an avid BBC4 watcher. I think there are amazing programmes on that channel, and I'd like to make something like that. Yeah.
So you're going to come back to us on that one?
Yeah, I'll come back to that.
What is your happiest childhood memory?
My happiest childhood memory? Oh, I don't know. Being with my family, my sister and my little brother. We used to go camping a lot. We used to do the, I can't remember what they called it now, but you used to drive down to the south of France and get to a campsite, and there was the tent all set up, you know, and we used to camp out in the summers. So we had some great holidays. Difficult to pick up. I mean, I had a very happy childhood, so I can't pick out one moment. Yeah, we had some good holidays.
What would you say to your 30-year-old self?
What would I say to, I think I would say, believe in yourself more. I think actually women of our age, Sarah, you know, it's always been, we've been kind of brought up to be the carers and the ones who are always kind of putting themselves down. We don't believe in ourselves enough. I really love seeing young women today. They have much more confidence, and they expect to be listened to, and we never expected that. It was a real surprise that somebody actually listened to us, and so consequently, although we may come across as very confident, you know, as a middle-aged woman, you sometimes get that. But I think actually inside we don't have enough confidence in ourselves, and I would say, you're all right, you've got this, and have confidence in yourself more. Yeah.
I think that's come with age. I'm
Maybe
so
it's
much
maturity.
happier in my
Yeah.
50s
Yeah.
because you can just tell people to jog on
Yes.
at last and not care.
Not that you ever do that.
You've reached a stage in your life where actually it's too short now to be bothered.
Well, this is it. I think you always, you know, actually I worked on telly, so every day I put myself on the line, and you know, we all do it. Look at people and go, oh gosh, she's, you know, fat, or he's looking old, and it's a very easy thing to do, and you become very aware of that you're putting, you know, you've got to look right and you've got to do everything right, and actually it's quite a liberation to think, no, I haven't got to do that. I dress for myself, and you know, because I want to look good, and for my husband as well. But I actually, if somebody doesn't like the way I dress, it doesn't matter to me. I'm dressing for me because I want to be, you know, the whole thing about fashion, I think these days is, you know, look the way you want to look the way that, you know, you feel good. There is no prescriptive, everybody must have a beehive hairdo and a mini skirt anymore. You wear what makes you look and feel good, and I think that's actually really great.
Thank God God that we can all express our own individual style now.
Yeah, and have the confidence to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, you're right, my daughter has a lot more confidence than I did at her age, and she is a lot more clear about what she wants from life, whereas I'm still not quite sure, and I'm knocking on 60.
But that's having an open mind, isn't it? I think that's good, actually.
Well, hopefully, or complete lack of ambition, one of the two.
I can't believe that of yourself.
Well, it's true. When I know what I want to do with my life, I'll crack on with it.
We both.
What song would you like to be played at your funeral?
Oh my goodness. Gosh, that's a difficult one.
Oh, it's not for me. I've got it all mapped out.
Have you?
Yes, I've always been a lot more interested in my funeral than my wedding.
Really?
Yes, that's very odd, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've obviously got every single ism known to man.
Yeah, I do. Sometimes I do think of music that I think actually would probably be the duet from the Pearl Fishers opera. which I think is just a stunning piece of music, and that's what I go for. Yeah,
Just because you love the music.
because I think it's life affirming. I like that piece of music. Yeah.
Elaine's saying, I remember Caroline, and Tuppence is saying that she's seen the red dress. So there you are.
Really? Well,
yes.
Isn't it amazing? It is amazing. It's amazing.
So ladies, keep pushing those love buttons when you see something that you hear something that you find interesting. Interact with us, and even if you're bored rigid, push the love button anyway, because it helps us in Google that.
It's nice to know actually somebody's listening.
Oh,
no! On the other hand, about the big knockers, I know.
Right, so what is your favourite colour?
I think, okay, we'll go for art history, and I think that it would be lapis lazuli blue.
Me too, but
Yes.
you know the name.
Lapis lazuli, that is the blue that the Madonna wears.
Yes.
That beautiful royal blue that Princess Diana and Kate Middleton also wore when they announced their engagements. Yeah, strange coincidence that. And it's an amazing...
Well, it was true in one case, according to her father.
Sarah, don't go there. I think, it's fantastic because it was so. I mean, in the Middle Ages, and that colour had to come all the way from one mountain in Afghanistan. That was the only place in the world that you could get that colour from, that rock to make that colour, and it was more expensive than gold. And it's a beautiful, beautiful blue. So that would be my favourite.
And it is my favourite colour too. And actually, do you know
quite trendy
what?
at the moment, isn't
It is. Mm-hmm. But also, I've just thought back to the previous question. Can you imagine when Kate Middleton became engaged that her virginity would have been discussed, let alone by her father? And that is how far the generation slightly behind us has come.
Yeah.
Because it just would have been jaw-droppingly bad taste. But 20 odd years or 25, 26 years before, nobody smacked him between the eyes, did they? Which is what they should have done.
The world is changing. So
Yeah, thank God. Thank God. I'd completely forgotten about that, you know. What is your favourite piece of artichoke clothing?
Oh, Lordy. I think, I actually have a beautiful silk jacket.
Yes!
You knew I was
Yes!
going to say that, didn't you?
Because you look
Yes.
fabulous in
It
it.
is absolutely outrageous. It is bright pink. What colour was it? Oh, really deep cerise
Fuchsia,
pink.
sort of
Fuchsia,
bright,
that's right.
really.
And it's covered in like silk painted flowers, fuchsias, creams, and it's a very elaborate and beautiful jacket, and I always feel great when I wear it.
And you look lovely in it. I'm glad you said that, actually, because
Yeah, it's
that's the piece that I love you in, so there
Okay.
you are.
That's good.
Shoes or handbags?
Shoes probably. But
Just.
Yeah, shoes, I think. Yeah.
But you love handbags too,
I
don't you?
do like handbags. I love Lulu Guinness handbags, really embroidered ones. But yeah, shoes, I think actually my husband would just really laugh because he's always tells me I've got too many shoes. How many pairs of shoes does one woman need?
Need?
That's all I want to say.
Don't really recognise that word. Who is your favourite designer?
Who is my favourite designer? I like all sorts of designers, I think, really. Probably the exuberant ones, but I have to say that I'm actually not really a great designer girl. I'm a bit too mean to spend on designer. Well, I've never had the money really to spend on designer stuff, so I wouldn't say that I'm a great follower of Vogue. I just like what I like. Yeah.
That's allowed.
Oh, is it? Okay, that's good.
Who's the most famous person you have ever met?
Oh my goodness.
This is where you name drop.
This is where I name drop. Okay.
So we'll just sit back and have a cup of tea
No.
whilst you rattle them off, because you must have met so many.
I've met some of the royals, but only you don't get to really to chat to them. Who have I met that's really... I once collided in a corridor with Charles Dance.
Oh my gosh.
He was so
Oh my God, yes.
he was, you know, I mean, I know he's gone, he's quite elderly now, bless him. But at the time, oh my God, I suddenly went, oh, I see what makes a Hollywood male star, because he was, very handsome and very lovely and very charming. Des O'Connor's a really nice guy.
No, I can think, yes.
He was such fun. Goodness, I can't think of... It's horrible when you put me on the spot. I can't think of...
That's the whole point.
Yeah, I know. Golly. Who else have I spoken to? Actually, not many people. Not as many people as you think. I know I worked in telly, but I worked in a newsroom, so, you know, you don't get to meet too many celebrities.
Any prime ministers?
Any prime ministers? John Major.
There you are.
Yeah.
What is your inheritance track?
My inheritance track that I would leave to my children.
No, the other way around, the one you inherited.
Oh, that I inherited.
Mm.
My father's, you know, he's really into his music and jazz and classical music, so quite a bit of classical music, I think, from Dad. Mum.
Any particular piece that springs to mind?
Oh gosh, that's really difficult. There was always music about, and I always remember, you know, Sunday night is, you know, it would be Sunday night is music night. My parents would always be decorating, you know, and they'd be painting, and it would be like, you know, I don't know, the black and white minstrel show type stuff, you know. So
Sing something simple.
Yeah, so that immediately takes me back to my childhood. Yeah, and I hear that. Yeah.
And what track would you pass down to your children?
What would I pass down to my children? I think I've probably passed on to my children already the track which kind of my generation was the most amazing track, and that was Bohemian Rhapsody and Queen. And I was lucky to go and see Queen live when Freddie Mercury was live 3 times, and he was just the ultimate showman. I've never seen anybody just so mesmerising as he was on the stage. It's fantastic. So and both my boys are kind of into Queen and that kind of music too, as well. So that's nice. Yeah.
Would you ever go braless?
Yeah.
What would you never wear?
What would I never wear? I would never wear a bikini anymore. And sort of, I don't think I'd wear hot pants either. Those days are gone.
They were never there for me.
Oh, didn't you have the hot pants and then the platform shoes as well?
No, I'm too young. No, I can't. Can I be? We're the same age, Caroline. You obviously didn't go to a convent.
I didn't go to a convent.
There you are. I think that's the difference.
Missed out there.
No, I mean the only shorts I ever wore were during the 80s with the New Romantics over your
Right.
the tartan ones over your opaque tights.
Yeah. Were you a Bay City Roller fan?
No, Donny.
Donny. Oh wow. I think David Essex. I guess I was David Essex and David Cassidy.
No, Donny.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
And then Bowie, I was obsessed with him and Jim Morrison.
Oh right. Oh, you were just you were way ahead of me.
And like the Clash, and then we moved into punk. So
okay.
yeah, my cousin Louise saw the Sex Pistols. You say I was too young.
Oh really?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, she was really into it.
Yeah.
What is your favourite piece of jewellery?
I think it is probably a diamond ring that my husband bought me and he gave it to me after we had my second son. Now, I'm not wearing it today, but it's very beautiful, and I have my mother-in-law to thank for it, because when he got his very first job, she said you should take out a saving scheme and pay money into it once a month, which he did, and the policy came up with when we had Jamie, and he blew the lot on a ring for me.
So it's a rock.
It's actually got 5 diamonds on it, and it's very beautiful, and that's my favourite piece of jewellery.
What are you reading at the moment?
I'm actually reading all sorts of things, but I'm just reading a book called Tiny Habits by a guy called BJ Fogg, PhD. And it's about changing your life, but by doing it just a little bit at a time. So in other words, you know, to paraphrase him, don't bite off more than you can chew, just nibble at the edges, and if you keep nibbling, you get through it and much more successfully. That's what it's all about. So that's quite interesting.
Yeah, that sounds fascinating. Quite good common sense as well.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And what city would you like most to visit?
That I haven't visited. I think I would quite like to go to St. Petersburg. I've never been there, and it looks fascinating and colourful, and I'd like to go there in the spring. But I do have actually a fugget bucket. So this is
What?
a fugget bucket. This is from since lockdown. You know, you have your bucket list, and we were talking about this, and we said, well, we should have a bucket list really. And I said tempus fugit, and so my son Jamie said, you need a fugget bucket, Mum. So it's become a fugget bucket. So every time we can't do something at lockdown, you know, you watch a programme on TV and you go, well, that would be really cool to go. It goes in the fugget bucket, and after all this is finished, we're going to get all those bits of paper and we're going to do all of those things. So yeah, St. Petersburg is in my fugget bucket.
So how many other things are in it? Are you going to have time?
Yeah, well, there's always time. They're only little bits of paper. But I mean, some things are just really little things, you know, that we could do quite easily normally, but we can't at the moment. And other things are like, you know, big trips and stuff. So there should be a few things that I'll be able to do at the end of this. Yeah.
So I've just done one question twice. So I'm going to ask you, what is your desert island makeup item, whilst I try and think of another question.
Desert island makeup item, probably, if I was being sensible, would be some sunscreen. But it was very funny actually, because I went out, you know, come July, and we were like, we could go out a little bit, and I thought, oh God, I've got to put makeup on. I'd forgotten how to put makeup on, and I started putting this foundation on, and I was charging all around the house trying to find my lipstick, and I couldn't find my lipstick, and I found it, I put it on, and then realised I've got to put a
mask on. Exactly. We don't need lippy now.
No, it was, you know, always the standby. As long as you've got your lippy, that you were okay. So probably it would have to be mascara nowadays, wouldn't it? Yeah, so I think I'd go for sunscreen and be really practical, but otherwise it'd probably be a bit lippy.
What is your favourite room in your house?
The kitchen. The kitchen is the hub of the house, I think. Yeah, we spend an awful lot of time in the kitchen. We had it kind of redone and put some of the bifold doors on the back, which opens out into the garden now, which is great because from March till October it's open and we just sit outside. And we've got a big island because if people come to our house, they all get roped into cooking and helping and standing and chatting around it. Yeah, I think that really is the hub of the home, the kitchen.
What is your spirit animal?
What is my spirit animal? I don't know.
Do you know what Ness said? She says that's a stupid question and I'm not answering it. But on Vogue, everybody is asked, really? What is your spirit animal?
Who's come up with the best one? I don't know. I think I'll say an owl. barn owl.
Why have you
Silent
picked
hunter.
a barn owl? Because you're a silent hunter. Oh my God, I'm with a psychopath.
No, I think an owl because I actually discovered about myself at a late age that I love learning, and so wisdom is a great thing. I'm like most of my family are kind of a great analyzer, so I will sort of analyze things, and I love the countryside. I would love to be able to I think it would be a bird. I would love to float across the countryside and just be able to get an aerial view of everything, so that would be quite cool. Yes, I think it would be some sort of bird. Yeah, and I don't want to get picked on, so I'll try and be one of the predators.
What will your legacy be?
Oh gosh, Sarah, who knows? Only time will tell. I hope that I have made a difference to make some people's lives better in some way. I hope so. I don't know what my legacy will be. Who knows?
Thank you, Caroline, for your 30 questions. So, ladies, I hope that you enjoyed listening to Caroline. We're going to have supper in a minute, which is lovely. It's going to be socially distanced, so we're clearing the jeans off the table and sitting at either end. Just to let you know that the pop-up in Ely starts on Thursday, so tell everybody in Ely that we're coming. And on Sunday, we are going to be doing a Sunday styling on black and how to wear it. So thank you for joining us today, ladies. Thank you, Caroline, so much for getting involved with your big knockers.
I'm never going to forget.
But it was an accident. I had no idea I'd done it. And thank you, ladies. Have a lovely week. We'll see you on Sunday.